No, I just gotta feed him.
So
I just have to put it
just
up.
FYI, I read an article recently because both my mom and dad put out feeders, and the article said that people don't clean them nearly enough. You need to clean them very often, or you'll actually do harm to the birds.
Thanks a lot for that. I appreciate it.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
You as someone that cares about all bees.
I know, that's true. I heard that recently too, that you have to regularly do that.
Yeah, weekly, I think it's
weekly. I hate birds. I freaking hate people, I'll tell you that. I'm hating them more pretty much right now.
As we're talking to you. I'll shut up then.
No, I appreciate that. Last night we watched the second half of this movie called Queen of the Bees, I think it's called. That's the one I mentioned. Wow. Bees are kind of important in the world, and it was beautiful because I don't know that much about bees. And it was made by a European filmmaker, and there were all these Europeans who just seemed like more advanced than us in many cases, just more refined and just smarter. Hi. But it made me so sad what's happening. It just feels almost irreversibly terrible, the situation in the world. Yeah. So if I got to clean my hummingbird feeder one more time every week, I'm happy to do it, whatever I can do. How's it going? Good. Welcome. There's all sorts of sitting stuff over there, including chairs if you like those. Whatever works. And welcome to you online. Taking off my shirt.
Think you're gonna get bees?
I don't know. I think Lydia also. We chatted this a little bit about it after you left that message, and I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But anything that makes it impossible to travel is probably not going to work right now for us. If it's something that needs constant attention, that's why we don't have a dog or something.
Yeah, I'll ask Shayna. She's the one that has the bees. Mm-hmm. I just remember it seeming like more work than I thought it would be, but I don't know that you wouldn't be able to travel.
I don't know. I mean, I like all this stuff. That'd be so fun to have bees in the yard and hummingbirds and all sorts of weirdness. I love that idea. But we'll see. I guess
we'll see. That same house in Southern California, in the middle of Redlands in the Inland Empire, they had a mountain lion pass away in their yard.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
I've still never seen a mountain lion.
That's a fun call with you society.
Dan is a mountain lion pet. Don't you?
We have a cat that we
how's the yoga?
It's rather large.
Yeah.
A lion variety.
What if I started meditating like that?
Yeah.
Can I get in the chat?
Yeah, it's I remember one time she was like, oh, you can step by and do it. And I was like, not expecting it to be hard.
Yoga?
The aerial yoga.
Oh, I bet it's super hard.
I was like,
is that what you guys were doing?
No, he was talking about
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to start in a moment. Meanwhile, I'll entertain you with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know all of Carrie's classes, but she's
opening up the
she's good. She's like
this was Carrie?
Yeah, she's like a physical therapist, but she doesn't do that anymore.
That's a good thing to know how to do, though. That's really
highly knowledgeable. She does lots of trainings all over the place.
Did you train
I'm entertaining the people online. As I did that, 2 people left. I'm not here for this crap. I want to get enlightened.
Yeah, I've been to it. Some of those could be more
Yeah, good healings. Things will move fast.
Nice. Totally.
It's always someone that does on part-time.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Cool.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
Would you do me a favor and write in the chat the Venmo and PayPal at some point? It could be at the end or whatever. I just want to make, and I can't figure out how to write in the chat myself on this thing, but it's not a big.
And they don't make it like
that's super, yeah.
Intuitive.
Speaking of which, like Damien now records a Thursday night, and then he's like, send me the files. I do that every week. I still cannot figure out how to get to the thing. I just have to keep pushing buttons until I can find it. There's different interfaces. If you interface if you link in through like the link we send out, then it's one interface. And if you go to the website and sign in, it's a different interface. It's like funny. I don't know. Yeah. Not that funny.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think. I went to a yoga class today. I'll tell you this funny story. So I'm getting back into yoga, and I had a hernia operation, and 10 weeks ago, I guess. Hasn't slowed me too much down on the pickleball court. That has it. Anyway, I was at a yoga class today, and I think I'm good at yoga, and we were doing, and there were only a few people in the class, and I hadn't taken the class with this guy. He was very nice, and it was pretty active. And at one point, I was doing something, I don't know, like one of these things or something, and he came all the way over just so I could see. He's like, the other way. I was like, oh, everyone else facing me, cracked back. So that happened, and I was like, I don't know what happened. I just got spaced out or whatever. And after like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, we're doing something else, and he comes over and he goes, the other leg. I was like completely not participating in that class. Here I am trying to do it. It was hard. It was funny. It made me laugh. Welcome, everyone. Now we're going to be serious. My name is Joseph Wade, and we're here to meditate together. We're here to mingle our minds, and with space, with awareness, and its in its purest aspect. So welcome. I'm so glad you made it, and I'm so glad you guys made it too. Thank you. We've got people in person, and you're welcome in person if you're in Denver, Colorado. It's at this time. It's on Virginia at Clearlight Yoga, and you're also welcome. But for those of you online, if you're new, then we'll just follow along, do the best you can. And if you have questions, if you write them in the chat, then I will try to repeat the question and answer it to the best of my limited ability. Welcome. When you meditate, there are 3 phases: the right orientation, the main part, and the dedication of merit. We're going to do all those tonight. So for the right orientation, first thing first, just come to your seat. And the seat can be however's comfortable. Cross-legged, you can be sitting in a chair, but if you're sitting like on the couch, it's better to sit in a chair where you can have a straight back. Straight back causes the channels in the body to be straight, the subtle channels. Hi, welcome back. And when the channels are straight, then the mind settles down. The energies in the channels become more clear and more loose, and then the mind settles down and it's easier to work with. If you don't do that, then it's hard. So make sure you're sitting with the straight back. That's nose over navel, ears over shoulders over hips. Hands can be on your knees, hands can be in your lap. I like this posture. It's called the posture of resting in ease. We like ease around here. So let yourself be however it is and just come to this place. Take a few breaths, be relaxed. When we meditate, we got to let go of the past. We got to not project into the future. And there's some other more subtle things. But let the past go. Whatever brought you here, whatever you're thinking about, whatever is all the energy of the day that's pushing you, just let go of that. Just let it be. And then allow a sense of good fortune to bubble up from inside you. A sense of happiness, a sense of jollity. You live right next door and you're still late. Sorry.
That's what happens always, no? When you're the closest, you're the latest.
It's no problem, though. It's no problem. We're flexible. Let this feeling of good fortune bubble up. When we do anything, any kind of anything in the self-help category, we gotta recognize that it's very difficult to even want to do these kind of things. And our main goal when we meditate is to meditate again after this, right? It needs to become a habit. Right now we've got all these non-meditative habits. I almost had bad habits. They're not necessarily bad, but they're just the habits of life. But now we're going to establish the habit of practicing meditation, of letting be in openness. And in order to do that, we have to recognize that we are doing something good. We have to catch ourselves being good. When I used to teach second grade, someone taught me, catch them being good and they'll be easier to control. And I think this is actually true. Some kid always causing problems, you're always kind of pointing out, stop it, quit it, sit down. Actually, we didn't do that part. But that kind of thing is one way. But if you see the kid actually working on something, settle down and say, hey, I like the way that Jim is acting over here. Whatever. Catch him being good. And it encourages them. Same with yourself. Catch yourself being good. Here you are. You're on your cushion. You're here tonight. Amazing. That's pretty awesome. So allow that feeling of like, wow, this is great. I'm glad I'm doing this, to percolate through your system for a moment. You have to have a lot of good karma even to want to meditate, much less to actually be doing it. That's great. So allow that to percolate through your system and feel like, oh, awesome. And right in the middle of that feeling of good fortune, think, I'm not just going to meditate for myself. I'm going to experience presence. I'm going to experience peace for the good of all beings throughout the universe. This is the correct orientation toward the practice. If you're a Buddhist practitioner already, then this is where you take refuge. Take refuge in the Buddha, take refuge in the Dharma, take refuge in the Sangha, take refuge in the Guru if you're a Vajrayana person. But since this is a group of mixed, a mixed group, then we just have these two things. I feel lucky, I feel joyous that I get to do this, and I'm going to do it for everybody. And when you make that aspiration, that give rise to bodhicitta, it's called, where you think, I'm going to experience peace for everyone, then the most important thing is you give rise to that thought and then don't do anything, just let go. When we make an aspiration or a prayer, that's like knocking an arrow on a bowstring and pulling it back. But to shoot the arrow, we have to let go. Same thing with this. So again, think, I am very fortunate. I have the time to do this. I have the interest to do this. I can sit up straight. Amazing. I'm going to do it for everybody. And then let be. Letting be is at the heart of our practice, the very essence. It's different than normal kinds of meditation where you have an object, you got the subject, and you're focusing on that object. And then your mind wanders and you try to bring it back, and then it wanders again and try to bring it back. This is called shamatha, one-pointed equipoise. It's important, but we already have that. It's called concentration in our culture, right? If you can drive a car, if you can write a letter. Who writes a letter like this, though? if you could do that, please send me one. I haven't gotten a letter in years. So, amazing. But if you can write on the computer or watch a movie, then there's you, the subject, there's a movie, the object, and you're focusing on it. You already know how to do this. What we're working with here is what's called vipassana, insight. Looking within. In Tibet, they call Buddhists, they don't call them Buddhists. Buddhists call each other Nangpa. Nangpa means insider. Insider doesn't mean like we're on the inside and you guys are on the outside, since pretty much everybody's Buddhist. It means those who look within. We have been looking for the answer to our problems out there forever, right? You've probably gone through every kind of thing. You've gone through different kinds of schooling. You've gone through different kinds of books. You've done all kinds of exercise. Maybe you're into fasting. Maybe you do yoga. Maybe you take a lot of drugs. All this has this goal of I'm going to fix myself with something out there. Now, because we're practicing meditation, we're going to look within. So, since you guys are here, you're going to try to do what I say, right? I'm going to say, like, look within, and you're going to try to do that. You're going to be hearing the teachings orally. You're going to try to apply them. But there's a more subtle level of, I hate to say transmission, but we'll say it, transmission going on. And that is to tune into the same spaciousness that I myself am trying to tune into, and that everybody here in the studio, and probably you guys out there, if you know about this, you're also tuning into. And that's like a more subtle way that we can commune, not only with each other, but also with our most central self, so to speak. And since that aspect of us is very subtle, then we have to align ourselves. Right? If you think about shooting like a .22 rifle a long way away at a little tiny target, you can't just be like, you're never going to hit that target, right? You have to align. You have to align your body, meaning it needs to be still. You need to align the rifle scope, right? If you have a scope, it's one thing. Let's say you just have a sight. You got the thing like this, and on close to you, and you got this thing. And you got to line those up like they do on rifle, right? Like think Boy Scout camp rifle shooting. You got to align yourselves, and then you have to breathe softly. It's not so different in meditation, right? Not so different. First of all, we align the body, right? We talked about this, nose over navel. If you're just getting into meditation, it made sense to take a piece of tape and a piece of string, tie something like a pen or whatever on the string, put the piece of tape with the string on a mirror that you can sit in front of. And make sure you're not sitting like this. Surprisingly easy to be sitting like this, and this is just what you've been doing, so you feel comfortable doing it. I was sitting in a yoga class the other day, and we had some time before, and I was just looking at myself, and I realized I was kind of sitting like this. I don't know if my neck was tight or whatever. I had to be like, come on, Joe. 35 years of daily sitting, and you're sitting like this. Not good, right? So, nose over navel. Ears over shoulders over hips. We really want to be sitting on our sits bones, these bones in the front. But you don't want to be too forward, but you also don't want to be too much like this. Really important, cantilever your head forward just like 1 centimeter. Otherwise, as you relax, your chin tends to drift like there's a balloon trying to do it, and you end up sitting like this, and that's not good. Even if it's very subtle. You need to be sitting straight up and down. So just make sure you're sitting straight up and down. Good. Relaxed. All you really want is your body to be comfortable, not needing to move around too much. Guru Padmasambhava, who brought the esoteric teachings to Tibet from India in the 8th century, he said there are infinite numbers of postures to sit the body in, asanas, right? But the most important one is one where you feel comfortable. So we're aligning the body. Why? Because when we sit this way, the body doesn't give a lot of feedback. So we're not thinking leg, leg, leg. If you're thinking that, then adjust your legs, right? You can sit in any way. You can sit with your legs like this. You can sit with your legs like this. You can sit like full lotus. It doesn't make any difference as long as you don't have to move around too much. We want to be able to drop interest in the body, not need to deal with it too much. So if you start to be uncomfortable because you're not used to sitting, then move and adjust, and then again. The most important thing is to touch stillness with your body, so you don't get a lot of feedback from your body. Of all the bodily parts, the most important one for us, the eyes. So what you want here is you want your eyes just to be open normally. You're looking ahead. But you're not looking crazy. And you're not looking too chilling either, right? Many times people sit with their eyes closed. There is a certain style of meditation in which that's good, but for us, we want to be able to mingle our meditation with our daily life. And you can't do that if you have to sit with your eyes closed. Imagine you have a stressful situation, you're like, meditation would be good right now. So you have to sit with your eyes closed. It'd be very difficult to deal with your life that way, right? Especially if you're in your car. Right? So we want our eyes to be open, but unmoving. Don't worry about blinking at this point, but if you're an advanced practitioner, you've been doing this a while, then you encourage yourself not to blink so much. Because when you blink, there's your eye, then when the eye lid comes down, you kind of naturally look up like this. And every time you do that, there's like a new information for your brain. So you're not like staring at something, you're just casting your gaze in front of you in a way that you don't need to move your eyes too much. Don't look around. Good. Move around like this, just let yourself go. And then we're going to do it again, just working body only. We're going to do this for just a few seconds, but be totally still. I know it's hard, but don't interrupt yourself. Just give yourself a chance. We're learning a new habit. Right now, we're continuously moving. Moving our fingers, we're moving our eyes, we're walking, even sleeping, we're rolling around. Here, we're going to abandon that. So just let be, very easy. Good. Good. Take a break, look around. Oh, yeah, everything's good, everything's good. Let's touch that again. Just let be. Ah, ah, ah. Good. If you do this right, your body kind of disappears. It's not giving you any kind of, there's no feedback loop there. You can just let go of your body. And this is similar to like trying to look down into a body of water, trying to see something on the bottom of the pool or whatever. If someone is like shaking a thing in the pool and is making little waves, you can't see, right? Things need to be still in order to look deeply. It's just an analogy, but we need to learn how to sit still. Let's try it one more time. Just let be. Ah, ah. Good. Good. Just practice touching this. Maybe your session is only 5 minutes every day. Every day. That's the most important thing. But you might meditate, so to speak, in this way 24 times in your 5 minutes. As you do it more, you get more and more and more relaxed, and it becomes easier and easier, and it has a special quality to it that feels really good. It's the opposite of what we're normally doing. Meditation is the opposite of what we're normally doing. It's just a fact. So what we need to do is learn how to be in touch with our bodies in a way that we give ourselves permission not to do anything. That's kind of the outer part of the body. We have really 3 aspects. We got body, speech, or breathing, and mind. Most people, when they think meditation, they think, I'm going to focus on my breathing. I'm going to breathe from my belly. Maybe I'm going to do ujjayi breathing, where you close your glottis a little bit, and you're like, There's a million pranayamas, ways of controlling the breath, ways of counting the breath, all sorts of things. Same guy, Guru Padmasambhava, when he came to Tibet, he said, there are many ways of controlling the breath, many pranayams. The most auspicious one, the most powerful one, is to let the breath flow naturally. So what we're doing here is we're setting up a situation we don't have to manage our breath. Very easy, very lightly. But don't try too hard to make it less. Normal breathing like this, in, as soon as you're in, you're out. As soon as you're out, you're in, like dribbling a basketball. When you do anything calm, your breath is more like a sine wave. Here we're going to let the sine wave be more and more chill, till there's like not much activity there. Just letting go. It's easier to do this if you're sitting up straight. If you're hunching like this, it's much harder. A little bit up. Creates kind of space in our lungs. See how much easier it is, deeper it goes immediately. As soon as you give yourself permission not to move your body, not moving your eyes, and not really breathing in a purposeful way. Spend a moment and just tune into that. Good. We say body like a mountain. Mountains don't move around. You look at a picture of the Matterhorn on Tuesday, it looks like the Matterhorn. You look at it on Wednesday, it still looks like the Matterhorn. It's not moving around. Same here. Speech like the ocean when there are no waves. Very calm. It doesn't mean you're not breathing. You're not holding your breath. You're just allowing your body to handle that, just like when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, you're not thinking like, oh, I got to make sure I breathe in. Not doing that. Right? You're just letting your breath flow naturally. Sometimes you'll have deep breaths, sometimes shallow. Your goal is to have very light breathing. You don't even really notice. Why do we do this? Because what our ultimate goal here, if you want to say, is like to work with the mind. I almost said control the mind, but it's not exactly controlling. But we need to be in touch with our mind. Most people don't even know what their mind is. You cannot see deeply enough into your system to even connect with your mind if you're constantly getting feedback from your body, if you're constantly getting feedback from your visual system all the time, everything. That's why we slow those things down, allow the breath to be very soft. Then it's easier to work with the mind, connect with the mind. Here, in this style of talking about meditation, mind is only thoughts. There are two types of thoughts. There's gross thoughts, like if I say, what did you have for lunch? Then you go back to your mind, and you're like, oh yeah, I ate momos for lunch, which is what I ate. Freaking awesome, too. I've been eating like dozens and dozens of momos every week. I'm like in a crazy momo time.
Where did you get momos?
I make them. So easy. ChatGPT, brother. ChatGPT. Movies. So it's easy. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the thing if you tell me after. And you too. Momos. So good. It's like a Tibetan dumpling. Anyway, you think back about like what you had for lunch. You have to kind of think that. It's like a conscious thought, right? Those are most of our thoughts. We think they're most of our thoughts, I should say. But really, there's like a line, and then there's a lot of subconscious activity going on. Kind of like planning, being aware of different things, organizing, reflecting on what just happened, making a plan for the next moment, determining whether I like this thing, don't like it, what I need to relate to that thing, whatever. This is like we call undercurrent of thought or subtle thoughts, right? Again, in order to even know about the undercurrent of thoughts, the the busy thoughts of having actual thoughts needs to calm down. It needs to get spacious, right? If you're in a big forest and in a jungle, let's say, and there are trees everywhere, you can't see even, I couldn't see you, right? Right? I have to go to a place where things are more spaced out. The trees are more spaced out, then I can see further. Same thing here. So we want to allow our conscious mind of giving rise to thoughts all the time to be like given a small hiatus, right? You're not going to have no thoughts, but you need to relate to your thoughts in a different way. Normally, mind is like, let's say this big, and thoughts are this big, and your mind, there's no room there. We need to make our mind a little bigger, right? A little more spacious. That's why we say, body like a mountain, speech like the ocean with no waves, and mind like the sky. How is the sky? Think about the sky for a second. The sky is like very vast. It's very open. It starts kind of like right here. If you go outside and you look up in the night sky, let's say, where does the sky start? It doesn't start 100 feet up or 1,000 feet up. It starts right at your eye. But it goes and goes and goes. And it can hold all kinds of things effortlessly. It can hold stars and the sun. It can hold other planets. It can hold birds, butterflies. In Ricky's case, it can hold dozens of hummingbirds. In my case, it can hold no hummingbirds at all. We only live like 4 miles apart. What a cheap. I'm going to fix that, though. We got a new hummingbird feeder. Ashley gave us a hummingbird feeder. Thank you, Ashley. The sky, it can hold everything. Now, if you live in a place like Seattle where it's always cloudy, you get a different feel for the sky than here in Colorado where it's often blue sky, right? So you have vastness. But it's the same with the space in your room. Check out the room you're in right now. Notice, like I got about maybe 8, 9, 10 feet to where Dan is over there, and I got a little more going left, I got a little more going right. It's like in this room, it's not that big of a room, but it can hold all kinds of stuff. It holds all these people, holds me, holds my voice, holds all the yoga stuff, holds statues, holds this beautiful floor, space. So we say mind like the sky or like space. Space is very vast. This is kind of like this orientation, kind of like your hand. This is the front of my hand, this is the back of my hand, right? We're going to change the orientation of our mind from being utterly and totally concerned with whatever thought is number one, whatever thing is happening, to a more open and spacious way of relating to whatever is contained within our mind at that moment, which is only thoughts, right? In this case, thoughts are like words in your mind, which is what most people think of as thoughts, but they're also like feelings, emotions. Emotions are just, as one of my friends says, emotions are thoughts on steroids. I like this, right? You have a thought, but if it causes a physical reaction, then you feel you think, I don't know what. Am I going to get in a car accident? All of a sudden your heart goes, dun, 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 and then you feel that heart thing, and that causes you to have more thoughts, and that's an emotion, right? This is all in your mind. This all is your mind. What we're going to do here is try to expand our mind such that whatever is in there is not crowding us the way it normally is. When we feel crowded, we feel like stressed, right? Got to react. Think about Little Big Man. We talked about Little Big Man a few weeks ago. It's a great movie. It's my favorite Dustin Hoffman movie. Great movie from the 70s if you haven't seen it. Have you seen it? Mm-hmm. Good. And you know this scene when he's in his gunfighter period and he's at this bar and there's this guy standing right next to him. He turns to him and he says, "You're crowding me." And the guy's like, put that and starts to back up, right? That's how our thoughts are. They're crowding us, right? Our mind is only as big as our thoughts. Very stressful. So here we're going to be a little bit more vast. Dustin Hoffman's feeling more chill, or I should say Jack Crab, because that was his name in there. He's feeling more chill when that guy backs up, and we're feeling more chill when our thoughts spread out, when our mind gets vast. So when we align these things, we align our body like a mountain, speech very calm, like the ocean in between the tides. And we remember, my mind is actually more like the sky, the openness in which these things can occur. And we can have an experience of not being so crowded by everything. You're doing it right now. It's a perspective change. Don't have to get rid of thoughts. Don't worry about that. The experience is a little bit like being in a room, and the only other thing in the room is a lion. Right? If it was you and a lion, no matter how tame that lion looks, you're going to be scared. You're going to be stressed. Now imagine the difference between being in that room with that lion and suddenly being like 1,000 feet up in a hot air balloon looking down at that room. Yeah, stress gone. Your view is very large. The lion's only little teeny lion. You think, oh, so cute. Right? Normally we've got to react to all these thoughts and they're right in our face. It's stressful. So let your mind be vast and open. Don't try to hold it open. Just relax. It's similar to, we're always kind of holding things, right? Mind's got thoughts about lions. Your mind is very small all around there. Now we're gonna we just relax. Spaciousness, openness, let go. It's like that. Kind of letting go. Don't try to hold it. Good. I gotta say, the meditation has been so good here. Last week, were you here last week? You were here last week. We finished and we went to eat something, and the whole time, after the meditation, in the car, at the restaurant, after the restaurant, I was like, open. It feels so good, you know? It feels so good. You realize, like, it's okay. I got space. I got space. I am space. This change is from mind, which is just thoughts, to the nature of mind, or the essence of mind, which is like space. It's not space, because space is just empty. This is like space pervaded by knowingness, awareness. You're awake. You're aware. But you're not collapsing around any object. I had a friend, he passed away, named Kungadawa. His Tibetan name, Richard Athuro, was his English name. He's an Englishman. He was the secretary of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, who started Shambhala, all this stuff, Naropa University. And he, near the end of his life, not at the end, but near the end of his life, he built this cabin in New Mexico. And he did like 4 years of retreat down there. And I would visit him. I had a little cabin on that same land. I still have it there. And one time I went to visit him, and we were just kind of sitting around. And you can, with people in retreat, they're very sensitive, but they're also very spacious. And he is like a good practitioner. He had been down there for a year or two. I don't know how long. And I said, Kunga, what is retreat like? what is it really like to be down here? It's in the middle of nowhere, Tres Piedras. If you've ever been there, like there's nothing there. It's like a good place to get away from the law. Many people are doing that. I don't know why. It's like a dangerous place. Last time I went down there to visit the land, I had to call the sheriff because there was someone squatting in the property. This is a true story. This is a couple of years ago. And we went down there, and I met the sheriff, who turned out to be a woman, which I thought was cool. And we drove up to the property, and she's like, okay, stay behind me. And she got out her gun. She said, we were just up here dealing with some trouble, like in that same area. I was like, whoa, I'll be back here. She was like going like this. It was like cops. And no one was there, fortunately. Anyway, I was in that cabin with Kunga, and I said, Kunga, what's retreat really like, you know? And he kind of thought about it for a second. He said, you know, it's like this. I thought it was pretty cool. I think about it sometimes. It's just like we're always holding, and in retreat you can relax, more and more space, more and more openness, more and more freedom. When you meditate, you get this opportunity. Don't try to hold it. We're so used to holding that now we want to meditate on space. Space. No. Not like that. Just be relaxed. To touch this, they use these words, or they're really just syllables in Tibetan. And the word for this is ah. It sounds ridiculous, but it's really true. The name of this could be said to be ah. So when you're meditating, or when you're getting ready to meditate, and you line up your body, and you line up your speech, and you think, my mind's like the sky, okay. Then the way you can touch it, or participate in it, is just to be like, ah. It's similar to ringing a bell. You don't need to ring it again and again and again. You ring it and it goes on by itself for some time. Ah. It's possible then to switch gears from being totally obsessed with each individual experience and thought and memory and plan and moment, all of which are kind of like a reflection of you. Here you are relating to that. Here you are relating to that. Here you are relating to that. It's stressful, right? You switch to this openness. Call it our true nature, whatever. Ah. Put your hands like this. Clap your hands together. And rub them together till they get warm. Now rub your fingers. Okay, now again. In a sense, you could say this is not meditation. I'll tell you a Tibetan story. Great meditator, great in the sense that he had done a lot of practice. He was living in a hermitage. This is in the 19th century. He heard through his attendant who was bringing him food or something that this really famous master was going to come. His name was Dzogchen He was like a very important and famous master. And the guy had been having a lot of deep experiences. Like sometimes he would sit down in the morning after breakfast, he would just sit down. And then when he would, get up to do something, he would realize it was already afternoon. Sit sometimes like 7 or 8 hours, just not moving, right? Didn't even know. So he's like, I'm freaking kicking butt here. I'm going to go see Control, and he's going to tell me I'm amazing. This is going to be great. So he goes down, closes up his little retreat cabin, travels down to this monastery where Control's staying. He makes an appointment, and because he's kind of well known in that area for being a good meditator, the master's like, oh, I'll see him, sure. So he comes in, and he sits down, and he's like, the master's like, how's it going? He said, I am meditating so amazingly well. I am such an incredible meditator, I have to say. So check it out. And he tells about, being in samadhi and then kind of absorption. All these periods. He said sometimes it's the next day. It's really wild. And I'm like, what do you think? And as he tells the story more and more, the master, who starts off like this, starts to be more like, at the end, he's just kind of like, he's like, he doesn't say anything, but the guy's like, what's happening? He goes, I wonder if he's jealous. He's jealous because I'm amazing. He's like, no, I don't think you understand. I can do these practices where I have to visualize something. I can visualize it so clearly, this guy says, that I can see the whites of the eyes of the deities I'm imagining. Coleridge was like, doesn't really say anything. The guy goes through several little renditions of this kind of thing. And finally, he's like, okay, give me some advice. Like, obviously, you're not happy about this. What am I supposed to do? He goes, I want you to go back to your hermitage, and whatever you do, do not meditate. The guy's like, what do you mean? He's like, I want you to do your sessions, but do not meditate. And the guy's like, I can't even conceive of this, right? So Control said, I'm going to be here for a little while teaching this stuff, but I'm going to be back in 6 months or something. When I come back, come and see me. But between now and then, don't meditate. This guy does not, he's almost has a breakdown, right? He's like spent his whole life meditating. He's doing just what the teacher said, and now he's having these experiences of complete absorption. He thinks he's amazing. He also even has low-level clairvoyance. Sometimes someone will come to ask questions. He knows what questions they're going to ask. Right? He's like, something's happening to this guy. Anyway, he goes back, and he's like, Culture just must be an idiot. He doesn't know anything. But after a few days now his meditation's kind of messed up by this instruction, so he's like, can't do it anymore. He's kind of pissed, so he's like, okay, I'm just going to do this, what he said, just not meditate. And over a period of months, he goes through like a traumatic experience. But after some time, he realizes his whole meditation was just holding. It was just holding clarity or holding whatever his subtle aspect of his focus was. And he begins to see that's not really what is meant by meditation. In his mind, he digs on this backside of the hand, so to speak, this nature. And he gets more and more free and more like he doesn't know what to say. And when, 6 months passes, whatever, which is nothing in Tibet, this guy stayed in retreat 20 years. He comes back to the monastery, and he's got a big smile on his face, and you know who else had a big smile on his face? Control. He's like, you picked up what I was putting down, didn't you? And he's like, I totally get it. My mind was like this, now my mind's like this. So I save you 10 or 12 years in retreat. This is the sound of it. They sometimes call this state thought-free wakefulness. It doesn't mean, this is a very subtle point, I give it to you guys here who practice all the time and whoever's online who's trying. This doesn't mean you don't have thoughts. It means you do not get involved in your thoughts. Thoughts are just like objects, right? Right? If you're sitting looking at the sky, we do these sky gazing practices, and a bird flies by, you don't get pissed. Don't you fly by during my meditation, bird. Right? Here's openness. You're open for whatever. Don't fixate on not having thoughts. First of all, it's extremely hard not to have thoughts, and the payoff is fairly low. Fairly low for being in total thoughtlessness. Right? One-pointed samadhi. You can do it if you practice a lot. It's definitely possible. And you can enter states where you don't know time is passing. It does happen. Of course. But the payoff is kind of low. Right? For all this effort that it takes. Instead, expand your mind and you will be able to handle anything. Whatever life throws at you, there's enough space. You have to pay attention. This is not just a one-time thing. It's similar to a bell. You ring a bell. I should have brought my bell. You ring the bell. It goes ding, and it fades out. You do the ah, and it's very clear. And then a thought comes, and you're like, I don't care about that thought. It's cool. And another thought comes, and then a thought comes of something you really like, brownies, and you're like, ah. You got to have enough attention. You got to be paying attention enough to, again, freshen up, right? Women used to say that, right? I got to go and freshen up when I go to the bathroom, right? We have to freshen it up. It's called sustaining freshness. Again and again. Open. And then it starts to get... And as soon as you notice, oh, I'm really focusing again on something, you can open. Sometimes it lasts a long time, sometimes it only lasts a little bit. Doesn't matter. Because again, you can do it. You can change from this side of the hand, which only does grasping, to this side of the hand, which can't grasp because you can't bend that way. Speaking of which, I have a nephew. My brother lives in Thailand. He married a Thai woman a long time ago. They have this 12-year-old kid. When the kid was like 8 or something, we were sitting in the back of the car going somewhere, and I said, we were talking about some accidents or something, and I was like, I just made this thing up for him. I said, I have this friend, and he's got his finger cut off, but the doctors, the medicine's so good, they could sew it back on. He said the problem was that they sewed it on backwards, so when he would close his hand, this finger would go back like this. You should have seen his face. He was like, ah! I think about that sometime. Can you imagine you close your hand and this finger goes, really off? We can only grab this way. When you turn this way, you can't grab outside objects because your hand doesn't grab that way. You get me? So, this way. You could say the whole spiritual path is a 180-degree journey this way. We've been going out forever. But when we go out, there's only 3 things to do. Like it and want it, dislike it and want to get rid of it, or not care about it. These are the 3 poisons. Liking is desire. Disliking is anger or hatred. And not caring about it is ignorance. Those 3 are all contrived states, and they're all painful. You know, if you like your socks, you're the king of the socks, by the way. He's always got good socks. I like your socks. I know, I like it. It creates a sock-shaped hole in my heart. I'm like, I wish I had some socks like that. I got these crappy-ass socks over here. I wish I had some fancy sun-rising socks. I got a little longing there. In this case, it's kind of a goofy, funny longing. In many cases, it's not. We think, I can't be happy. I don't have a wife. I don't have a baby. I don't have a machine gun. You think that way, stop coming here. Just kidding. I don't have a machine gun. Wish I did, though. Just kidding. I do have a bow and arrow. Shooting arrows is fun. It's very meditative. You feel like a Zen guy. You know, Zen guys, they shoot arrows. What's funny is when you first start shooting arrows, I went to a Kudo place, Kudo, right? In Boulder, they shoot the arrows only like this far. They stand right by the target at first because it's all about the style. And I thought that was hilarious. That's why I love Zen. No offense, I love Zen. Anyway, totally lost track of my train of thoughts. It's cool. Oh, hole in our heart. Sock-shaped, baby-shaped, moon landing-shaped, whatever. We have these, we're not complete, right? We're not complete. So we can only try to get that thing that we think will make us complete. This is like the story of our lives. And if you have something you don't like, can't think about anything else. Get rid of it. Whether it's like a bad boss or a terrible memory. Think about this. How many people suffer from their past, their traumatic experiences of the past? They're not even here now. It could have happened 25 years ago. It's still driving you. Horrible, right? And then everything else, you have to hold it off because you can't think about that. Right? You can't notice everything. So and that takes a lot of energy. All three of these are kind of painful. Painful, anxiety-producing suffering. That's why the Buddha said suffering is the nature of things. And what is the cause of suffering? Grasping. But you can only grasp if your hand's going out. Right? Can't grasp if you like this. That's pretty good, Ricky. I just came up with that. That's pretty good. Hey, Wagner's being creative over here. It's really true, though. You look this way and let be. Let be in this open spaciousness right now. You're free right now. You don't have to get rid of your past. You don't have to get the socks. You can get the socks, not get the socks, okay, because what are you when you're this way? You're whole. You're complete. You're total. Something that's total doesn't need to get rid of anything. It doesn't need to get anything. It doesn't need to defend itself from anything. Don't call it meditation, we call it gom. Gom means to become familiar, to become accustomed, right? To this new way of being. Normally we're like this. And this way there's only grasping. That's the thing. We think, I don't care, I'm cool, I'm chill. Actually, no. We're just doing it on a more subtle level, underneath the thinking, the awareness level. Constantly, every second, we're choosing one thing, next thing, get rid of this. And that whole world is it's like trying to set up your desk on the Titanic when it's sinking, okay? Get your desk and this is where your little cup of pens goes, and this is where your coffee cup goes, and this is where your phone goes, if they even had phones there, I don't know. But if the desk is like this, no matter how many times you put the freaking coffee thing here, it slides right down, and our whole life becomes that. It's just that, just trying to get something we want and get rid of something we don't want. It's insane. It doesn't lead to happiness. It doesn't. We're not whole. We're messed up. We're damaged goods, right? And we all have that anytime our mind is going out. Because our mind can only relate to the world in these 3 ways. Or 5 ways, right? 3 ways are lust, anger, delusion. 5 ways are add in jealousy and pride, right? And we're doing this all the time. The Buddha said, in one finger snap, there are 60 individual instances in which you can do this. So we are so busy. So busy. And you know what? What happens when you're really busy? You get tired, right? Aren't you tired of this? I am. So instead, we're going to take a break. You've got to take a rest. And the sound of taking a rest is ah. One of our friends, Eric Pemakunsan, you might know, he's amazing. He calls that the gentle sigh. Don't try to sustain it. Just touch it and let be in that for as long as it lasts. Sometimes it lasts long, sometimes it lasts short. Doesn't matter because it's so easy. Just as easy as turning your hand like this. That's very easy, right? Now, if you've always been like this with your hand, and someone says turn it this way, then distracts you, then again your hand will be out because you have that habit. Same with our minds. We're constantly going out, right? Really what happens when you do this, you step completely out of the flow of time, which is really cool. You're like a time traveler for a moment. The past is just made out of coulda, woulda, and shoulda. I could have done that. I would have done it. I know. This just thoughts. And it's also gone. You cannot touch it even no matter who you are. Not even 1 minute ago. Gone. So it's kind of idiotic to do that too much. In the present, you've only got those 3 ways of being. Liking, disliking, or ignoring. And those are all painful. And in the future, it's only hope and fear. Right? I hope it'll go my way. I fear it won't. And those are usually mixed together in a way that's very stressful. When you do this, it's like the past is ended, but the present in which you have these things, when you have arisen, they call it co-emergent ignorance, has not yet started. There's like a real break. There's only openness, pervaded by the sunlight of awareness. You're still aware. You can see the socks. You can hear the words. You might even have thoughts in your head. But they don't matter so much because his mind is big. The mind nature is big. It can hold all kinds of thoughts. Let's do this. Put your hands like this. Put your thumbs at the base of your ring fingers. Shut your hands. Called a Vajra fist. Put your hands on your knees with your arms straight. Just do what I do. Right arm goes out to the side. Extend your index finger. Block off your right nostril. Breathe in. Hand down. Left arm goes out. Block off the left. Out. In. Hand goes out and down. Right arm goes back out. Block off the right. Out. In, out, and extend your fingers. If you do this often, it really has the effect of like sweeping all your thoughts out of your head, and you really get a sense of what it is behind the mind. Mind's just thoughts. The openness comes to the fore, so to speak. You hear what I'm saying, and you may or may not be having the experience of having your mind be spacious enough to know what I'm talking about. When you do this exercise, in, out, in, out, in, out, and you don't do anything, you can't do anything right after. Just right when you breathe out, don't do anything. It's like Thoreau sweeping the dust out of his cabin. There's no dust and no thoughts. That state does not last, but it's very convenient for recognizing this. It will last longer and be deeper if your body is still and your breathing is not too active and you're not looking around. You can recognize it any time. But we need to become familiar with it. And to become familiar with it, we have to spend more time with it, right? Say you're single. You meet someone who you're interested in, and they seem interested in you. At first, you don't know them at all, right? You just like one meeting at a coffee shop. You're like, you like the Grateful Dead too? Whatever, right? You have a connection. I personally do like the Dead. Still. But you don't know each other. Now you want to become familiar with them. Think of the relationship. It goes well, and a year later you're living together. Think about how much more familiar you are with them. What changed? You spent time with them. You saw them in different circumstances. You saw how they reacted when you went to the zoo. Maybe you went to Paris. Whatever. You did stuff. Right? And you became familiar by spending time with them. Same thing here. You're befriending a new part of yourself. It's a part you didn't know about, right? You didn't know you had this spaciousness in your mind. You thought you were just your thoughts. So the only thing you can do then is try to replace your crappy-ass thoughts with some hotshot nice thoughts, which is extremely difficult and also super contrived and ridiculous. There's someone in our government who's really good at this. It can lead to a kind of psychosis. You have to be careful. Too much positive thinking, it's out of alignment. This is not about positive thinking, and it's not also about not thinking at all. If you couldn't think, you'd just be like a squirrel. Okay, squirrels cannot really think. I mean, they may have fun, like hungry, but they're not thinking like, I wonder how I can get that M&M out of his hand. They're not thinking that way. I know this because I have a squirrel semi-pet. I have this cabin in my backyard, and it has a sliding glass door. And in the summer, like now, which is sort of the summer, I leave the door open in the morning, and the squirrel has become familiar with me, and it comes in. It has this weird way of looking where it's like stressed, they look crazy. But I can tell it does not have a single thought in its head. It knows something happened in here that was good yesterday, which was that I gave it an M&M. I got the M&Ms for the protector offering, so I just sometimes toss it an M&M, which it loves. But it doesn't have any real thoughts. It's just like, we don't want to be more like that. We need our thoughts, right? If I'm supposed to go to Sprouts after this, and I'm supposed to get 3 items, and I cannot give rise to thoughts, it's going to take forever. I'll give you something to say next time you're at the grocery or any place, and the person said, did you find everything? You say, wouldn't it take forever to find everything? I like that. I used to say that a lot. And I was at the grocery, this was some years ago, and this guy, he was like, did you find everything? Meaning, did you find everything you were looking for? But he didn't say it. He said, did you find everything? And I said, wouldn't it take forever to find everything? And he said this very wise thing. He said, don't ask me, I'm dumb. That was awesome. I was like, oh, I got kind of lost the Zen battle there. Don't ask me, I'm dumb. I thought that was really funny. I still think of it. No problem thinking. We need to be able to think. It's tough to do grocery shopping without thinking. But we need to know the difference between being fixated and 100% holding our thoughts and not doing that. That's this, right? That's this. This difference. The more you do this, the more familiar you get with this state of openness where grasping is not possible in the same way. It feels really good. At first it feels strange. It feels like a gap in your mind or some sort of like weird thing. You're like, I'm not really thinking, is this okay? You have to have 2 things on the spiritual path. You gotta have faith and you gotta have courage. I've been doing this for 35 years every day, all day long, and it doesn't make you go crazy. So you can have faith in that. And you have to have courage because this is not what we normally do with our minds. This spaciousness feels stressful and scary. My dad, who's become quite a good meditator, but in the early days of his attempts at meditation, he was like, I don't want to not be able to get work done. I need to use my mind. This is not about not being able to have thoughts. It's about being spacious. And when thoughts come that you need to deal with something, you do it. And when they go away, you're not dragging them back up. Wouldn't it be nice not to be like dwelling on the past? All that stuff that happened to you. Some of which, probably most of which, was not particularly good. A lot of people, they have to deal with this huge past. It's like a giant backpack. They're just carrying everywhere their past. I give you permission Don't think about the past, ever. Just let it go. If you can do it, you'll be a lot more light and happy. Again, to do it, you have to practice. As they say in Germany, Übung macht den Meister. You probably speak German. Probably speak German better than me. Übung macht den Meister means practice makes the master. You want to be a master? Then you got to practice. What do you practice? Turning away from all those thoughts and looking toward your own nature, which is like space, and becoming familiar. Gom means familiarity. I'm not going to lie to you. It takes practice. According to the Buddhist teachings, we've had many bodies, millions and millions and millions of bodies. And in every single one, we practice this. Now, some weird dude in Denver is telling you to practice this. It's not like you can do it overnight, because it's not an action in the same way that everything else is. It's a certain kind of letting go, but it takes a certain practice to do it. So give yourself a chance. The way to practice is short moments, many times repeated. Not long periods of trying to hold this. That does not work, and this is just one more holding. You have to look toward, let go. Comfortable, spacious, easy, chill, vast, profound, sublime. You, if you're an adult like I am, you have explored many things. You've been to many places, you've eaten lots of foods, you've tried different diets, exercise routines, you've dated different people, maybe you've been married, maybe you have children, you've had pets, whatever. You've tried everything. There's only one thing you haven't tried, and that's space. Right? And as they said in the original Star Trek, what do they say?
Space is final.
Space is the final frontier. It's really true. You've explored everything. Now you know what's out there. It's not any different, right? Well, I've been to several, I was going to say many, but it's not. I've been to several aquariums. Aquariums are fun to visit to. You visit aquariums?
Yesterday.
Really?
He's a diamond.
Well, see? We're lining up. Anyway, I think the one in Seattle is the best one I've been to. That's a pretty amazing place. Yeah. But once you've been to one, you know more or less what aquariums are like, right? You're not going to be like shocked with you may new exhibition, maybe get to touch the turtles, eels, whatever kind of yick, you can just do that in Seattle, right? Touch it. What is that they have? Some kind of fish or something.
Stingray, no?
What is it?
That's in there.
Oh, the stingray. That's cool. I like that. Yeah. You know what I haven't seen at the one in Denver? They have those archer fish. Do they still have those that shoot the ball of water and knock the insect down in the water and eat it? From South America. They have them. And at some time they feed them. And so they put it, and then the thing, it has a long mouth like this, and it has like a little blowgun. And it puts it hides under the water, and then the cricket or whatever's over there, and it can shoot like almost like 4 or 5 feet. You know what I'm talking about? No? Archer fish. And it puts the tube just a little out of the water, and it goes, and it shoots a ball of water, and it hits the thing and knocks it in the water, and eats it. Pretty cool. I heard they do it at the Denver Aquarium. My point here is not about that, although I do love blowguns. I must have been South American, Brazilian, or Peruvian. I don't know, in my last life. My point here, once you've been to one aquarium, you know what they're like. There's no problem going. I like them. Right? It's like a curiosity shop, which they also have right by the aquarium in Seattle. That's an amazing place with a bunch of really old stuff, Anyway. Lydia took me there. I was like, wow, they got mummified heads. They got all kinds of cool stuff in there, old stuff.
You got one in Denver.
Yeah, out in Golden.
I got one in Colfax.
I don't know. I've only been to one out in Golden. Anyway, once you've been to one, you more or less know what the other one's going to be like. Same thing. It doesn't mean you don't keep exploring. Do your North Face thing. Keep exploring. Isn't that the tagline? right? You haven't been to Borneo yet, so go. Cool. But don't have too much thought that I'm going to fix my problems by going to Borneo. That's ridiculous. Captain Kirk, he knew. Space, the final frontier. You picking up what I'm putting down? Damn nose. What's the sound of it? It's extremely subtle. It's not something you can do. That's why it's so hard, kind of. It's more like letting go. But the letting go doesn't last very long. So you have to let go, and then you find you already picked up the thing again. You didn't even notice. That's why you have to have drenpa. Drenpa means mindfulness. You have to be paying attentionness. As you do it more, the mindfulness merges with the meditation. But at first it needs to be kind of on purpose. When you do it, you have to be paying attention. Think prison guard. Prison guard in an old-timey prison where you're up in one of those towers with a rifle, right? You're not looking, you're not like this. That's not how they are. They're just kind of chilling, but ready. Same thing here. Open, but paying attention. Don't get too blissed out. Yeah, this is awesome. That's not meditation. That's just thinking subtly, right? This is free. You're jumping out of the water like a fish jumping out of the water. You see those flying fish in Thailand? You're on one of those ferries. They jump out of the water. They go like 6-8 feet. It's pretty cool. Same with you here in the beginning. Get distracted. Start thinking about something. And then you're like, oh yeah. Now, believe it or not, doing this, it creates a special kind of energy that is, those are the dedication prayers. It creates a special kind of, we call it merit, but it's actually wisdom. It's like a special kind of goodness that is not available anywhere else. It is not available because all other types of goodness are totally relative. Like Dan, he teaches golf. If you went to teach someone golf, get a good lesson, it's good and it's fun, but it ends, right? This kind of, I don't know what you call it, goodness that's created by turning this way is not conditioned. It is not temporary. It is like special. As a result of it being so special, it's easily lost. So what we have to do, the main part of the practice is doing that And then at the end, when you're done sitting, whether it's 1 hour or 1 day, whatever, you want to gather up all this goodness and share it with everybody before you lose it. Similar to being at the beach, your friend falls asleep on the sand and you're like, I got it. You go down to the water and you get a handful of water like this, thinking you're going to dump it on your dad or whatever. You're a little kid, let's say. and you go, and by the time you get there, it's all drained away. Same thing here. If you don't dedicate the merit created by meditating, by the time you get up off your cushion, it's all gone. You don't even remember what you're doing. You don't know no benefit. I mean, of course, there is a little benefit, but if you want the maximum benefit, you have to dedicate it. You have to let go of that balloon, right? It's like you spent all this time blowing up this balloon and you have to let go of it. Somehow you were full of healing when you did it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. The balloon just goes down, it goes up. I don't know. Just go. So we're going to say this prayer. I put it in there, but you don't have to say this prayer. This is a famous prayer, and there's probably some more benefit in it, but it doesn't matter. If you don't have it memorized, all you have to do is just think, may whatever goodness I've created here, may everyone share in it. That's all. So So then we have the 3 parts of meditation. Thinking, I'm lucky, I'm going to do this for everybody, or this, or whatever you're doing in your meditation. Openness, recognizing your inherent condition, the base, the ground, over and over, every few seconds, for as long as your session is, and then dedicating the merit. So we're going to do that now. Ready? First, a little bit of just let be. Okay. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemy wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara may I free all beings. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys especially for being here. Driving all the way from Golden. Have you been in that curiosity shop out there? It's in a little shopping center kind of south of town. I only went there once.
What is it called?
The curiosity shop? I actually don't know what it's called. Yeah, I only mention it. Thank you for being here. If you can donate, please do. I want to support this place. We get to use it for free. You know, you wouldn't go to a restaurant and have the server bring you food, which lasts for like 30 minutes, and not prepare to give them 20%. So even $5 makes a big difference, and it's good for you too. Be well. More? Practice. That's all I really care about. Practice hard. Catch you later.